This is my latest live rig that I've developed during 2020. It doesn't differ that much from my previous video that I made a couple of years ago, but there has been some updates, well, this for example. And the signal chain goes as follows. Guitele has 3 pickups, 1 condenser microphone and 2 magnetic microphones. So I have 3 cables going from microphones to the preamp, which is Focusrite 4i4 preamp. So I have 4 inputs and 4 outputs. Kantele is channel 1, condenser microphone is channel 2, and guitar is channel 3. Computer, still the same, Macbook Pro mid 2018 that runs the Mainstage that I use to create the sounds. Now this is the new addition to the live rig, which is the McMillen SoftStep MIDI controller. This I use to control the Mainstage and work around the patches there and different effects. This is super nice. First of all, it's so light, it's so tiny, look! And it's fully programmable. I can do so much stuff with this, and I can do different presets for my different bands and projects so that it's really easy and fast to set up when you are doing the sound check or whatever. SoftStep is really nice because it has expression pedal input. So I have one M-Audio expression pedal so that I can link straight to the SoftStep that I use to create those kind of synth pad sounds that I've presented before. And why I use this one? Well, it was cheap and it's really lightweight. The whole point of this setup is still that it fits on one backpack and it's super light to carry on. Quite easy and straightforward system. Now let's jump to the main stage and I show my signal chain there. Okay, we are now inside the main stage, and first thing I'm gonna show you is the dry signal chain. How does it sound? As you can see, I have only the 3 inputs going on. Guitar magnetic pickup, kantele magnetic pickup, and the condenser microphone. The only plugin that is on the dry setup is just this Front Daw kind of preamp plugin to boost the guitar signal, since the guitar is the only pickup that is going to the line input, which is not kind of suited for magnetic pickup. So I use this plugin to just boost the gain of the input. I have a couple plugins on my master chain that bit color the sound, but mainly do a little bit compression and keeps the sound volume so that it's high enough, but it's also that it doesn't give any nasty peaks to the sound engineer. I actually have this Plugin Alliance Brainworks Master Desk plugin on my master chain, which is kind of unbelievable that it works. It has so little latency that I can use it. It's super nice plugin. It makes everything sounds loud and fat and thick and wide, and it's, yeah, pure honey. Thank you, Plugin Alliance and Brainworks. Also, the other plugin is just the Izotope Ozone Maximizer to boost the sound level and use that as a limiter to have that minus 0.5 dB ceiling for the sound. And this is how the dry instrument sounds like. I mean, it's okay. It's really two-dimensional. It's really just kind of flat, you know. But why this is my starting point is because I want to keep this kind of the hard sound of the instrument and the whole set list, so that I have the dry acoustic sound of the instrument going through and being kind of the glue for the whole performance and for the whole concert. So this is the starting point that I now start to mix and process with effects. Let's open up, for example, Mosaic, which is one of my favorite tunes to play, and I think it has really nice sound, so let's hear it a little bit. So here are the 3 channels, audio channels, and they are going into the dry mix bus. So as I said, the dry signal goes through to the master channel without that much of a processing. The condenser mic has only, this is the actual hard sound, the center sound of that acoustic signal that I was talking about. And I have Izotope Neutron, yet again super plugin that has so many tools for you to work different kind of things. The thing is, the equalizer and compressors work really well with the Mainstage. But all these other plugins inside Neutron create too much latency to be able to use them, in my opinion. So I mainly use only the equalizer and compressor in Neutron. But this is what I use to boost a little bit the dull condenser mic signal, trying to get a little bit more bass frequencies out of the microphone. And now we come to the effects and the processed sounds. So I use the 2 magnetic pickups on the instrument to as a source for different aux channels for the effects, because the magnetic pickups are so well separated. So for example, the acoustic guitar pickup, magnetic pickup, doesn't pick up any kantele noise or any noise around me, so it's so easy to process, so it's really clean signal. What I have on kantele is just basic stock Logic EQ plugin that I cut most of the low frequencies out, because the lowest string on kantele is 220 Hz A. So it makes sense to cut everything below that, so I don't get unnecessary rumble. In this song I use Exciter, yet again Logic stock plugin, just to kind of have that little more sizzle, more harmonics on the upper frequencies. And then I have compressor that kind of imitates LA2A opto compressor. And kantele feeds quite many auxiliary sends. First is the shimmer effect that I've talked about before, that I use to create these synth pads. And the signal chain for this is that I cut with single EQs. I basically use low cut and high cut, so I get really narrow frequency response. And then I have enveloper, which takes off as much transient as possible, because I want to have that pad sound that floats, so I don't want the shimmer reverb to pick up the transients. And then it's the actual shimmer reverb, and I use still the Sinevibes Luminance for this. And actually they have released a second version of this plugin, but I bought it, I tried it, and I think the first one is better. Sorry, Sinevibes. I use Valhalla vintage Verb to make it a little bit more saucy, because I like it. This is my go-to reverb. This is my, if I would need to take one plugin to desert island, I would take Valhalla vintage Verb. For example, in this song only, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 instances, different instances of Valhalla. Thank you, Valhalla. And then it's just another EQ to tame the shimmer reverb low, mids and lows so that it doesn't muddy the sound too much. Cool. Then I have 2 reverbs, which are short and long reverb. And they work a little bit differently, just creating this kind of 3-dimensional soundscape. Because I was talking about that the starting point is really 2-dimensional. So what do you do to get more that kind of 3D dimension is to use different reverbs, and these are creating, I use this kind of short reverb to kind of imitate, get this really short sound from the instruments, so that I get kind of little bit that type of pseudo body sound of the instrument. And the long reverb is just long reverb. Nice. And most of the times I use the Valhalla vintage Verb so that I just open it and boom, it's ready. Maybe use the pre-delay, but most of the time I just open and use the default setting, because it sounds so nice. God damn it, Valhalla, you are good. Then I have chorus effect that actually in this song both kantele and guitar uses little bit, just to it's subtle, but it makes so much more, it makes the sound so much more lively and exciting. And I use this Tal Chorus LX, which is kind of emulation of synth chorus, and it's free, so go and download it. Then we have delay plugin that both kantele and guitar are actually going, and it's just a stock Logic tape delay plugin that I use. I like this. It's easy to use, sounds nice, it does its job. And there is still another Valhalla to make a little bit muffiness to the delay sound. I was having trouble liking the sound of magnetic pickup, so what I did is, this is the sound of the magnetic pickup. Oh, wait. okay, but it still sounds little like bad electric guitar. So what I did is I took the Space Designer plugin and used impulse response from Martin D28 guitar's body. This kind of makes also that kind of pseudo reverb, that imitates body of super nice acoustic guitar. Of course it doesn't sound like Martin D28, but it gives something extra to the guitar sound. Off. On. And then a little bit EQ and all the effects. Oh, we still have the sub effect going. So the guitar microphone is feeding the sub bass channel, which is this one, and this creates the bass lines. So it's basically my bass player. What it does, I cut down all frequencies above D string. So it kind of picks up only notes that are below the D here. I compress it a little bit to make it, or a lot, to make the notes as stable and as equal as possible. And then if you remember, I used to use the Waves Low Air plugin to make the sub bass, and it was working like okay, but then I got really irritated how it made these kind of artifacts on the sound, and it wasn't working as stable as I would like that kind of plugin to work. So I stumbled upon Logic, yet again stock Logic sub bass plugin, and this is it's actually the best sub bass plugin that I've tested and used, and this just immediately became my go-to bass plugin. Super nice. Nice. So that's basically the different signal chain, and now we come to the buses, or the mix buses. I have couple routings there. So as I explained, I have the dry channel, dry bus, which is here, and it just goes straight into the master channel. Then all my effects are going to the effects bus. Why I use this one and why this bus is on concert level? So this basically means that this bus is on every patch, on every song, and whatever I do if I put some plugins here, or I just fader here, it affects all the songs. This is because the most common thing that I have to tune on sound checks is the balance between my dry signal and effect signal. So this is really easy way that when I drive every effect channel to this effect bus, it's really easy to just adjust this once, and it affects the whole set list, so that I don't have to go individually through every song and change the ratio between effect and the dry sound. And for some songs that uses this sub bass sound, I have also the sub bass mix bus for the same reason, because different sound systems produce the sub frequencies differently, and in some sound system they are super loud, so I have to take down the whole sub area for the whole set list, and for some gigs I need to boost it. So this is the easiest way to do that really quickly, so that I don't have to use that much time for that. And the final thing you can see here is the SoftStep programming that I can use. So I have the SoftStep here on my floor, and I can use it to go up and down the patches, use the master mute, which is this button on Mainstage here, which is really handy because it kind of shuts down the whole sound of the output of Mainstage. Then I have the tap tempo, which affects the patches attribute tempo. See? So it's really easy way to use tap tempo to program the delay times on different songs. This song is quite a nice example of how my whole setlist with Guitele goes through, and it's then just about taking down some of the effects. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the live rig or Mainstage or the plugins that I use, or how I program stuff inside the Mainstage. I try to answer your questions and maybe do a video if it's relevant for wider audience. And yeah, see you on the next video.